Hello and welcome everyone to another episode. Yes, so I decided, I ended up cutting out a lot of footage, and I ended up changing around a little bit of some of the stuff I was doing, and this has been a little bit of a hard setup compared to any other setup that I've had in the past with all my other Duna bases and stuff like that. And I really am kind of just going crazy as far as the setup is concerned. Basically, I'll probably show some of the footage right now with basically what I had to do in order to get the module that was underneath I don't want to call it the landing. I didn't really plan on it being the landing portion of this base, but basically I'll show you guys some of that right now. So yeah, that was a little intense. I don't even, it was just insane. Most of the reason why I cut some of it out was I had a little bit of problems with, what am I doing? Slow down, there we go. I had a little bit of problems with recording, and I ended up basically cutting out a bunch of footage by accident and then keeping some in and then cutting some stuff out. But I ended up, basically just cutting out a lot, basically. It was, really, this thing has just been a kind of a pain as far as the setup is concerned. I haven't had this much problems with setup since, basically the, very beginnings when I first started doing stuff like this. So I'm going to try to get this module attached. I got it mostly lined up right now, but the problem is just that they're not centering up the right way. So one will be off by a little bit, and I'm trying to prevent that, but it is kind of hard. It's a lot easier said than done. That's all I can say. So I've just been kind of knocking these modules around until they get close. And I know the landing gear kind of causes some problems, but let's see. Are these even close? Let's just put on the brakes real quick. They're getting closer, and it looks like they're almost about to be lined up. So I'll just give it a couple more pushes, and then we'll see what we can get. But yeah, so I was gonna mention that, my last episode, well, at least in the career mode, I was going to talk about gravity a little bit, and basically what my thoughts on the movie were. And let me just say this right now, I didn't really care for that movie too much for a few different reasons, mostly it being that it did not really simulate actual gravity that well. I mean, there's a few laws of physics that got broken during the movie, and it just made me cringe a little bit that, any movie that involves space, a lot of people generally take that as, somewhat of a truth. So they think that that's how things really work, which is kind of an annoying thing, but at the same time, I can understand if you just don't know anything about space, then you're gonna believe basically anything, even if it's a movie, what it shows, what it says, what it tells you. Armageddon was a really good one when it came down to stuff like that. The effects in that movie were even worse. I'm not going to say that Gravity was bad, but oh god, we almost broke a solar panel. I'm not gonna say that it was bad, but at the same time, definitely could have been. Armageddon was probably the worst as far as it comes down to simulating anything that has to do with space. I don't even know where they got the ideas for all that stuff from. But, you know, Sandra Bullock and George Clooney, I mean, Sandra Bullock, the only thing I ever remember any of the roles that she's ever played were in the Speed movies. So when I see her in a movie, I'm just kind of like, oh, yeah, okay. It's just kind of funny to me to see her acting. I know that, you know, Speed was a very, very long time ago, and we can all forgive her along with, I don't even remember who the director was, but yeah, those movies were just, the first one was okay, but I mean, even Keanu Reeves, I'm not like a big fan of him. I mean, I did love The Matrix and all that stuff, but he's not a very good actor. But, you know, the idea that Sandra Bullock is able to fly not only just the what is it, the American capsule, she's also, or what was it, not the American capsule, but the international, or not, well, I'm thinking International Space Station. Ooh, is that lined up the best way? I really don't feel like this is lined up the best. It looks like they're pretty much the same, but I don't even know. You know, her being able to fly not only like the Soyuz and the Chinese module, which doesn't even exist. Why is that rocking around like crazy? I really hope this doesn't break. I'm not going to even try to fix it right now. I'm so done with even trying to fix any of this stuff right now. I'll probably end up looking at it later, but, you know, her being able to fly the Soyuz and the Chinese module that doesn't, or the Chinese capsule, which doesn't even exist yet, and, you know, you got all this different stuff in the movie that really, it's just, I understand that they needed a plot and they needed something to make a movie about, but it just seems so illogical in so many different ways, especially with deorbiting a billion-dollar space station in the movie. I look at it and I'm like, no. I mean, I know Mir was deorbited, and I know Skylab was deorbited, and a lot of stuff was deorbited, but it just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sorry that, I'm sure there was a lot of people out there that really enjoyed the movie, really liked it, but it just didn't make any sense. I'm sorry, but, like, I mean, for me, if somebody's gonna, like, basically state that this movie is so realistic and so amazing, please show me something amazing. I mean, you know, I know, like, when it comes down to it, even Apollo 13 wasn't 100% accurate down to the T, but, I mean, they really tried. And you can, I mean, they rented the Vomit Comet for that movie. They did a lot for that movie. And to see another movie that has anything to do with space, and George Clooney just jumping around and spelunking through space like it's nothing, like they're underwater or something. I was just like, what is going on here? You don't do these kinds of things in space. It's not even safe. And, you know, it just makes me think that that's how people think that this is what happens on the space station. Like, this is normal standard operating procedure or something. And that's the part that really bothers me. Because once again, I mean, with this community, with Kerbal, I mean, a lot of people understand how we go about doing things in space, and, you know, as far as, like, on the space station, and, you know, as far as, like, the moon landings, and a lot of people have researched, and, you know, we all kind of understand and come to an understanding of how all these things were achieved and what was done. and how it all works for the most part, at least for some of the stuff on how it works. But then you see a movie like this where they basically make it into, like, oh, you can just jump between modules, and the amount of speed that is between you, and having the rope taut, and no, it just doesn't work that way. I'm sorry, I'm probably going off on a tangent, and I'm probably talking a lot more than I should, but yeah, so I'm going to get these last two modules hooked up. I'm going to speed most of this stuff up to save you guys the time, so I'll see you once these all get attached. Yeah, and there you go, guys. Got this thing completely set up. Now you can see, I notice it right now. The modules themselves, they look a little bit off, and I'm gonna go ahead and fix that off camera probably. This already took me a very long time to get this set up, so I'm just gonna kind of leave it at that for right now. And wow, that is actually pretty bad. I'm gonna go ahead and fix these off camera, and really try to get this thing worked out. I think it's mostly because we're on a hill right now, and even though it's like a slight incline, it's kind of screwing with everything a little bit. Otherwise, I'm not 100% certain. This might end up having to be moved someplace where it's a little bit more flat. So yeah, guys. If you like what you see here, subscribe. There's always more to come. If you haven't already, at the upper right hand corner of this video, at the end, will be a link to the featured person of the week, so go ahead and check that out. And on the upper right hand corner, or not the upper right hand, the upper left hand corner will be a link to send me your craft if you want to build a submitted craft that you'd like me to fly. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching, and yeah, I will see you next time.